My name is Sam Maditski. I'm 31 years old, and I've been kiteboarding now for the past 23 years. I originally came to Squamish in the summer of 2006. I came out here for a kiteboarding event, and I fell in love with Squamish. I couldn't believe how windy it was, and how often it was windy. That's, I guess, as a kiteboarder, one thing you look at for locations to travel to is how frequent is the wind there. The name Squamish from the First Nations means Mother of Wind, and I mean, it kind of makes sense since Squamish is so windy all the time that it was given that name. So yeah, 2006 I came out to Squamish, and then I always said one day I'd love to make this home. I think the Squamish Spit is so important to the community of Squamish, but also to the Sea to Sky region, simply because it provides access for wind sports enthusiasts, and two, it's hands down the best place to see Squamish from. It's kind of a postcard view out there.
My name is Rebecca. I used to be from Squamish, but just was away in Europe for a while and got back, and hope to move back to Squamish. I've been kiting for too long. I wish I was a better kiter than I am, but it's one of those sports where there's always so much to learn.
I was born in China, moved to Canada about 10 years ago.
And I'm from Poland originally. I moved to Canada 13 years ago for computer graphics.
My name is Ronald, and I'm originally from El Salvador.
My name is Claire Johnstone, and I work at the Squamish Wind Sports Society.
Hi, my name is Jack Ryder. I'm a professional kiteboarder for Air Rush Kiteboarding, and I also work at the Squamish Wind Sports Society here as a jet ski retrieval.
My name's Deborah Gunter. I can say at this stage in my life, it's literally my whole life, and I can't even imagine what my life would look like without being able to be here. It offers a piece of life that is hard to find these days. In the calm serenity, the glory of the nature. It's an unbeatable place to spend time.
My name is Angela. I live in Vancouver, and I'm from Tsawwassen. I feel like it's not just impacting the kiting community. Oceanfront access in Squamish is incredibly limited. Now with Nexon being closed for development, yeah, this is really going to impact our community as well as all of Squamish. And I think that the tourism draw that it has, whether that's tourism within British Columbia or also international tourism in non-COVID times, is sort of being neglected a little bit by the district here. So yeah, it's really sad.
When I go away, like I just was, and I come back to Squamish, the first place I come to is the Spit. And I really realized that when I think of home, it's actually here on the Spit. It's not Squamish as a whole. This is where I come when I want to see everyone. This is where I come when I'm going to say goodbye to everyone.
What brought me to Squamish is actually the outdoors. I came to Vancouver, came to BC just to study, and I thought I was just going to come here to study and go back home, but I ended up coming out here, loving it, and never leaving. It is absolutely mind-blowing if we're living somewhere where the ocean meets the mountains and we don't have water access. In a place, Squamish means wind, in a place that's windy consistently throughout the summer, we have this incredible spot and we won't have water access to be able to do these water sports. It's insane. It's honestly, it's ridiculous.
There's no other place like this.
It's super frustrating because this spot offers really amazing quality of wind, and it's one of the best spots. It's definitely the best spot in Canada. So once it gets removed, we might need to move.
So the Spit has obviously been a huge part of my life. I started kiteboarding about 6 years ago, and ever since then it's been where I've met all my friends, built my community, and it's changed my life in ways I can't even describe.
is known for, not just for general outdoor activities, but for kiteboarding, windsurfing. Like the wind is one of the why Squamish is known. So, like shutting down the spit, it's gonna take away the opportunity, as you mentioned, for kids trying to go into the Olympics, and not just that, like for families and everybody practicing the sport.
Amazing at the Squamish Spit. I see young kids out there with their parents kiting, and it almost brings a tear to my eye because I'm like, oh, I remember those days as a kid, and it's such a cool sport. It's really unique, and it's great that Squamish has such incredible conditions that after school in May or June you can go out at the Spit and go kiteboarding with your family and friends. It's got huge potential on the kind of global scale for kids coming up through the sport. Jack Ryder, who's from West Vancouver, he's now the best in Canada and the best in North America for park and freestyle riding. And Jack grew up kiting at the Squamish Spit, and that's just one example of one of the top kite surfers in the world who's come out of Squamish. And I think it's got huge potential for more and more youth within kiteboarding to grow and to progress in Squamish and train, because it is just like so many other sports. It is the highest level of kiteboarding is here in Squamish, just like rock climbing, kayaking, biking, all these other sports, skiing. There's a lot to offer in Squamish, and as far as the conditions go, the conditions here to train are incredible.
My name is Scott Dagelman. I'm a resident of Squamish, and I'm a local kiteboarder. My family and I, we moved here 4 years ago from Saskatchewan, and all things pointed to Squamish. I didn't really understand what this place was all about until we moved here. And it's truly, it's really the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. And we moved here largely for the kiteboarding. I'm an ex-windsurfer.
Canada does really well in winter sports because we have snow and people get to practice.
And it's not just because of the wind, it's just because of how it's structured here.
Yeah.
With the flat water, it's perfect training ground for Olympians.
The Squamish Spit is where I've learned to kiteboard, where I've progressed as a kiteboarder, and I think it'd be really sad for all of the Squamish teenagers and children to lose that opportunity, because it's such a special spot and it's one of the most incredible kiteboarding spots in North America. So if we remove access to this spot, we're going to be taking away the opportunity for every single person who's grown up in Squamish, Vancouver, all the people who want to try and pursue this as a career or something they will love to do and create friendships.
We've got kiteboarding's going to the Olympics in 2024 in Paris. That'll be the first year kite surfing is in the Olympics, which is a huge milestone for the sport. And an area like Squamish and the Squamish Spit, it's hands down the best training grounds in all of Canada to train for an Olympic sport like kiteboarding.
This is the reason why people live in Squamish, the recreational capital of the country. Wind sports are a very low environmental impact sport. We have, people who come here on walks to enjoy the estuary. There needs to be a way that we can coexist. It can't be, salmon versus wind sports. There's definitely a way where we can have a conversation where we can get everyone to be happy and, be able to conserve the salmon and be able to enjoy the environment and be able to do the sports that we love, because this is the reason why people are out here. I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think both can exist, and I think this is what we need to reach, the agreement that we need to reach in order for everyone to be happy.
I beg you, whoever's in charge here, please, please have a look and see what you're potentially going to destroy forever, really. I mean, that's it. You take this away and that's it. I mean, I just really believe that this is a precious place, that, and it's a great opportunity. It could be a better place. We could have grass here, you could have sand, you could make it a really, really special place.
I just spent the last year in Europe, and I was kiting in Europe, and when I told people where I was from, a lot of them actually knew about Squamish because of the kiteboarding, which was really surprising. I mean, here I am in Germany, and they know about this little mountain town in Squamish because of the kiteboarding. And there's a lot of people from Vancouver or the Lower Mainland, including myself, who moved to Squamish because of kiteboarding. So I think it's hard to put a number amount on what kind of value this area brings to the community.
I'm one example of someone who's moved to Squamish for the spit and for the kiteboarding, but I'm only one example. There's so many more people that have literally said to me before, they're like, I moved to Squamish too for the kiteboarding. So it's pretty incredible what a community the spit draws in, and people are willing to literally move across the country for it.
I was involved with the SWS when this proposal first came to the board. At the time it was put towards the board members as something very different than it's turned out now. We were told that this was going to be a collaboration, a realignment, that kiteboarding would always be here. And today we're faced with a very different reality, which is sad because, you know, there's more users and there's more user groups than just kiteboarding, and the spit means something to everyone, and yet not everyone has been consulted when it comes to the future of this amazing place.
The removal of the Squamish spit would be obviously a huge loss for the wind sports community here in Squamish, but I also think it will affect tourism as a whole. There are a lot of other user groups that use the spit for different activities, and at the very least people go out there just to take in that view of Squamish. It's stunning. Shannon Falls, the Malamute, the Chief, Garibaldi, Diamond Head. It's a beautiful spot to look at Squamish from. I think the Squamish Wind Sports Society and kind of the wind sports community here in Squamish was under the impression that we were going to be realigning the spit and not removing the spit. And, you know, kiteboarding is an environmentally friendly sport. We don't use any gas, any oil. We're literally just using the wind and harnessing the wind to pull ourselves across the water. So removing the spit instead of realigning, we're losing access to our spot. It's definitely challenging and kind of tough to swallow.
So it's kind of a shame that nothing could be worked out that, you know, that saves the salmon and keeps us having the access, because I think with just a little bit of effort it really should be possible.
The Squamish spit is at risk of being removed to try and help the salmon, which is obviously something that us as wind sports enthusiasts care about. But we want to explain just how important this place is and why there needs to be an alternative that works for everybody. Because the Squamish spit is where I've built my entire community, created friendships, and basically grown into the person I am today. It also is the only reason why I get to travel the world for kiteboarding, because I got to grow up here and train in such an incredible spot.
I love Squamish, but most of the time, I will say 75% I go for the wind.
Global warming is a thing, and our planet is changing constantly every day. We want to be raising our kids. This one's not mine, but I'll be his auntie and I'll be in his life. And we want them to be in these environments and to be able to experience, you know, the ocean and the sports. And he's going to be like his parents, and he's going to be a kiter. And I think that's really important in kids' lives, like growing up with these sports, growing up with, you know, these activities that they can do where they can enjoy nature, you know, instead of being on their phones or on iPads and stuff. Because I mean, that's where we're headed with the kids these days.
So Squamish has this natural amenity that very few communities have. And the ones that do have it, like Hood River, have really, really capitalized on wind sports. And to me, it's a shame that here you have a town that's named after wind, and yet not only are we not helping any of those wind sports, but we're actually taking away from it. It's just a sad event.
These places are important for the future generations. Yeah. Bye, Lou.
I think if I didn't get into kiteboarding, to be fair, I don't know where I'd be at. It's been such a big part of my life since I was 8 years old. That's kind of all I knew, you know. I would do show and tell in school about my kiteboarding gear when I was really young, and then I would do presentations on kiteboarding through high school about whether it be marketing or sales, whatever it may be that was related to the sport. All the activities I did in, you know, gym and the weight room were always kiteboard specific, and it's always been about kiteboarding. And that kind of comes down to where I live now. I live in Squamish because of the wind and because of kiteboarding. So without kiteboarding, I don't know where I'd be. I think I would still be in Ontario. Most of my family is all in Ontario. Most of my friends are in Ontario, although I have many here now in Squamish. But yeah, the wind has brought me across the country. It brought me from Ontario to the sea to sky and to Squamish, and I'm not going anywhere. It's an incredible place to live. There's a lot of like-minded people here, and I really, really hope we're able to realign the spit instead of remove the spit, because I think there is a win for everyone.
Check us out at #Realign Not Remove.
#Realign Not Remove. Save the spit.
Save the spit, #Realign Not Remove.